Hello everyone and welcome back to Bacon. Also welcome back to Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. And we were on Rumpel's route. We shall be continuing that. I've had a pretty good day today. I hope all of you have too. Once upon a time in a kingdom far, far away, there were two crystals. One was the crystallum lucis, protected by the ruler of the fairies. The other was the crystallum tenebrarum, which was watched over by the high leader of the witches. Which might also be another reason why they're like questioning his legitimacy, because that also, I forgot that also means whoever is the bearer is also the leader. And I can kind of understand why they would feel that way. Again, he is a brat. For a time, the fairies and witches lived in harmony with the humans of the kingdom. Though it does make me question why Parfait was always living far away from all the other fairies and had to go a ways to meet up with them. For a time, the fairies and witches lived in harmony with the humans of the kingdom. He stopped suddenly, cheeks flushed. You're laughing at me. What? I am not. Cinna just glares at me. Maybe we could skip this part? We've heard it before. Cinna sighs. Delora tells this story all the time and no one laughs at her. Delora does tell this story a lot, doesn't she? Chevalier looks like he is trying not to laugh. That is pretty disrespectful. Are you doing it because he's a kid? Then by all means, feel free to tell the story however you like, Cinna. I'm already intrigued. That's really condescending. Don't patronize me. Cinna starts again at the beginning, describing a time when the fairies and witches got along. If I were him, I'd just be like, well, that was your chance. Bye. And I'd walk. You need him. He doesn't technically need you as of yet. And he doesn't quite realize that not, helping you out could be very detrimental to everything. But if it were me, I'm petty like that. I'd be like, all right, since you clearly don't need to hear it, bye. And I'd walk. I'd be down the street already. Then inevitably, Hans destroyed the balance with his fairy tales. Normally, this would be the part where the storyteller explains that the tenebrarum bearer, my mother, went mad after the witch genocide. But Cinna surprises me by going off on a different tangent. When Hans realized what he'd started, he beseeched the tenebrarum and lucis bearer to meet with him. The tenebrarum bearer wanted nothing to do with Hans. Her heart was already overfilled with hatred for humans. The lucis bearer attempted to meet with Hans on her own, but the bard was killed by a witch before their meeting. I stare. How did I not know this? With Hans gone, the conflict spiraled out of control. The lucis bearer, Faye, he stopped suddenly, his gaze forlorn. But Faye, Parfait? Faye, huh? What a lovely name. It suits her. It's literally half of Parfait. Mithros is myth. Parfait is Faye. I just think it's funny that no one seems to be very creative when it comes to pseudonames. Cinna clears his throat. Rather than put an end to the tenebrarum bearer's atrocities, Faye clung to her hope and optimism. She did not try to stop the tragedy until much later. You know how the tenebrarum works, Princess Lucette, so you must know why Faye was the way that she was. The tenebrarum gathers and stores negative emotions, and then sends me these emotions to diffuse. This keeps the balance in check. It goes to reason that the lucis would gather positive emotions. Okay, so it wasn't quite explained that the person who's the bearer diffuses the emotions before. That's something new to me. I was actually wondering about that. I thought they just kind of soaked it in, felt it, and that the crystal was the thing that diffused it. But I didn't realize it was the bearer that did that. That kind of puts a whole new twist on everything and makes it 10 times worse because Parfait knew this and did what she did anyway. Why did she think that would be a good idea? Why did she think allowing an increased negativity in the kingdom, especially toward witches, whether it was through fairy tales or not, would be a good idea, considering I was wondering why she felt every single death like it was her own. That's why. She's a diffuser. Wow. That makes the whole thing that much more monstrous. It used to irritate me that Parfait was always so positive. I thought it was a part of her personality, but you were saying that Parfait was the way that she was because she absorbed positive emotions from the Lucis. Yes and no. Faye was an optimist at heart. The Lucis just magnified those feelings. It blotted out other necessary emotions like anxiety, caution, all the things contained within the Tenebrarum. My cousin lost herself to hope and refused to see reality. It wasn't until the Tenebrarum bearer killed the king and started wreaking havoc that Faye finally took a stand. Even then, she only took action when another witch came to her with a plan to defeat Hildur. That would be Waltz. He's told me the story of his apprenticeship before. Cinna pops a lily-shaped biscuit into his mouth and looks at us both expectantly. So, do you see? You said before you didn't want to make the same mistakes as Lady Parfait. Which means you've been closing yourself off to the Lucis because you don't want it to impact your judgment? You make it sound like I'm not doing my job. No, he's not. He's just restating something that you've said to make sure that he understood it. And again, I hate when the game actually puts me in a position where I have to defend this guy, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I really don't like him. Please don't make me defend him again. Oh, I never said that, but is it possible that closing yourself off from the crystalline has been doubling the intensity of the emotions in the Tenebrarum? I put my fingers to the temples of my head and grimace. I do not know how the Lucis works exactly, but I know that the balance between the two crystallum impact this kingdom and the magic in it. If the balance is not maintained, magic will eventually go haywire. I doubt it. You'd be able to see the ramifications if it was directly impacting the Tenebrarum. You don't think her magic going haywire in her nightmares might be an indication of something that could become bigger? With all due respect, Cinnamon, I think we already see those ramifications manifesting in the princess. She is the bearer, after all. He looks at me uncertain. Or am I misunderstanding? I'm not sure. I don't know what happens when the two are out of balance, but I cannot help but recall Parfait's fragile state. She suffered from an illness Chevalier could not cure. Parfait was frequently in pain. She said it was because of what happened to her during the war, but do you think the imbalance between the crystalline might have impacted her as well? Chevalier stares at me wide-eyed. So it was not just the weight of the Lucis that burdened her, but the weight of the Tenebrarum as well? It's possible. Cinna raises an eyebrow. He looks unconvinced. Of course he does! Because if it doesn't necessarily affect him directly until it actually does, he doesn't care. How positively unexpected. Cinna, as the bearer of the Tenebrarum, I am prone to nightmares. Sometimes the negativity causes my magic to flare or makes me impatient with people. I've accepted these are inconveniences that come with being the Tenebrarum bearer. Accepting the emotions that come with the Lucis are part of your responsibility. It's not the same thing, Princess. I'm gonna have to argue with you on that one and hope that it's the right decision. Alright, let's go back. I'm gonna argue with you. I fail to see how it is not. The longer this conversation carries on, the harder it is to remain calm. The festering negativity of the Tenebrarum hardly makes it easier. With all due respect, Princess Lucette, if you had any respect, you would stop talking and start listening. Both Cinna and Chevalier stopped to stare at me. What? I'm sure Chevalier was thinking the same thing. You adults are the same. You refuse to consider new perspectives. And you're a brat. You don't want to consider any perspective but your own, but you want to freaking tell other people. You don't want to see other perspectives. Honey Bunny, what part of someone else is being affected by your actions do you not understand? Like I said in the last video, he needs a monitor because he clearly doesn't know how to do his job. He can try and fight it all he wants, claim that he knows what he's doing. He clearly doesn't. If he did, he wouldn't be fighting this hard. He's way too prideful. I am trying to understand you, Cinnamon. That's Cinna. Let's try assessing this from a different angle, shall we? Cinna turns away with a scowl. I force myself to take a deep breath. The last thing I want is to make Chevalier worry when he already has other problems to deal with. So it seems like arguing was the wrong decision. So let me get this straight. I should have allowed him to be a brat to Lucette. That was the correct decision. Let him be a brat. Let him treat Lucette like complete garbage. That was the correct decision. I hate this route. I mean, it was just kind of okay. But I think I officially hate it now. And I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about Cinna and the other routes anymore either. I come at my argument from a different angle. Rather than insisting, I ask Cinna to rethink his methods. Chevalier is quick to back me up, but he does so in a way that makes it seem as if he is seeing both sides of the argument. Honestly, at this point, I would have gone behind his back. I would have been reporting to the other fairies all of his behaviors. I would have been telling the other fairies what's going on with this and let them decide, since he doesn't want to. By the time we are done talking, Cinna looks defeated. Fine. I'll do what you ask, Princess, but only on the condition that you let me do it my way. If we do things your way, we might as well just go behind your back because nothing's going to get done. We've been trying to do it your way for a little while now. Tiny Lord, you're much too cynical for your age. If you keep this up, you'll have permanent wrinkles on your face before the year is up. You should smile more often. Don't tell that boy to smile. Stop telling people to freaking smile. Who are you, the Joker? You need to learn how to face reality, old man. Chevalier just laughs. Life is all about balance, as they say, and I already have a very dedicated princess here to help me master it. He smiles at me fondly. Years ago, when I first met Chevalier, he taught me the value of trust. I, in turn, lectured him on self-gratitude. I'd like to think we have both been good teachers to each other, even if Chevalier does not still give a lot more than he receives. I don't know why, but I've just been feeling irrationally angry so far this playthrough. Cinna sighs. I'm not in the mood for your philosophizing, thank you very much. But I suppose you're in the mood for a cinnamon roll? Oh, is the Lucis Bearer embarrassed? One more word and I will shatter your glasses. They're just... I know why I'm rationally angry right now, actually. Chevalier is completely unscathed by the threat. He is smirking when he orders a cinnamon roll for Cinna. They're treating each other really crappily. I mean, it's not just him acting like a brat. They were laughing at him when he was retelling the story. He had a good freaking point. Delora tells that story all the freaking time, and nobody says anything. Nobody. They just let Delora go about her day doing whatever the heck she wants. No problem. And he clearly had a point to telling the story his way. And then, of course, then he in turn treats them like crap. They treat him like crap. He treats them like crap. Aren't you supposed to be better people? I just feel like you're worse people in a lot of ways right now, honestly. Like, I feel like Lucettes a worse person because before she wouldn't have been freaking laughing at people for telling the story after she worked that hard just to get their attention, just to talk about this kind of thing. He's finally willing to, and you laugh in his face. How did he not walk off? And then Cinna, we're brand new to Cinna. But the way that he's been behaving, it makes me want to smack him. I feel like he needs a monitor. I feel like he needs to have a full-grown adult controlling his decisions, and I usually don't necessarily feel that way about kids who are typically more intelligent than most people their age. When I was his age, it would have made me so angry to have a monitor around to do my job. And at the time, I did have a couple of jobs that I was doing. I was part of the Junior National Honor Society as well as a library assistant. I didn't really need a monitor. I didn't need an additional adult around to know what the heck I'm doing. I was pretty darn responsible. But he just... he wants to ignore his duties, but then get defensive when people say he's not doing his duties. And then he wants to treat everyone around him like he's better than them. And in turn, it's causing people to be really nasty to him. But at the same time, it's sort of like... I don't know how to just... What the frick? I just want people to stop being assholes in this route. Please. Can I enjoy this route? Can I come to like these characters, please? I don't know about the other routes, but usually I like Lucette. I feel like I could come to like Cinna as well. And then, can we just have one person who's a part of the main cast, the ones that we're seeing the most of, not be a jerk? Is that possible? Please? Relief washes over me as the date carries on. For the first time in a long while, things seem to be looking up. Okay, so I am thinking we're gonna save right here. Yes. And we are going to load this and go with the other decision, which I also don't like that we're gonna agree with him, because no, I don't agree with him. And he's, like I said, he's being horrible. He's being absolutely horrible. Why are we gonna be okay with the way that he behaves? Why are we agreeing with him on something that is not freaking true? No, it isn't. Cinna looks like he is about to argue, but then he pauses, realizing I have agreed with him. I am sure the Lucis is different. I have no doubt you know its inner workings better than I do. Perfectly logical and reasonable so far. But in order to maintain balance, Cinna, you can't close yourself off from it. Why weren't those things said in the other option? I mean, I kind of understand what she means by that they're different. But she, in turn, just went right back to her point of, you can't do this, though. Which is arguing with him again. I'm so confused. How would you know how the balance works? Did Faye explain it to you? Jerk. She did not. I do not have poor Faye or Mother to help me figure this out. Even Delora and Waltz, for all their help, can only tell me what they know in theory. Cinnamon. What do you want, old man? I want you to be open-minded and listen. How are you ever supposed to come to a consensus if you don't hear Princess Lucette out? How come you're defending her properly in this option, but not the other one? Cinna snorts. I don't take orders from you. Wow, so Cinna actually looks 10 times worse this time around versus the other way around. He was tamed a little bit in the other option when she got angry and aggressive. But since we're approaching him in a softer way, he's taking advantage of that by continuing to be a brat. Chevalier looks stoically at Cinna, who glares back at him. Chevalier does not so much as blink. In the end, Cinna turns away with a grumble. And it was the right decision. Fine, you don't need to tell me twice. Splendid. Please go on, Lucette. As always, Chevalier is able to change the tide of the conversation without raising his voice. Too bad he didn't help you out the other way. I'm very confused. This seems like it's arguing with him, not agreeing with him. It seems like one was arguing with him, but gently, and the other one was just straight up arguing with him. I'm confused. I don't understand. I'm just feeling very frustrated at this point. This has not been a fun time. I come at my argument from a different angle. Rather than insisting, I ask, okay. The days pass in quick succession over the next week. Remarkably, I am able to fall asleep and stay asleep. I do not know what or if Cinna has done anything to the Lucis, but I am relieved for the change regardless. It has been 4 days now since our talk at the cafe, and I have some time on my hands after a meeting with Father and the counselors. Chevalier, who already knows about this, will be by in a few hours. Last I heard from him, he was busy setting up his new clinic space in the palace. His absence works to my advantage. I have some time on my hands to do something nice for him without him knowing. In the end, I decide to go with my first idea, the scarf. Chevalier has been in need of a scarf for a while. He is not the same without one. But the question remains, what kind of scarf do I get him? Really? So we can buy him a scarf, we can make him a scarf. I imagine he would prefer that we make him a scarf because that's more, I almost said emotionally charged, and it's like, I don't, sentimental, that's the word I'm looking for. It's really hard to think coming down from stress like that. It's been a long time since I sewed anything. When I was lonely, I used to sew puppet companions for myself, but I have never made clothing. I can still remember the scarf Bria made for Chevalier. Is there any way I can make one that looks even half as nice? Bria made a living as a seamstress, but me... I shake my head to clear it. I will make him a nice scarf. A maid passing by through the hallway pauses to look at me. It occurs to me belatedly that I spoke aloud. Haha! If I must say the words for them to be true, then so be it. Though it has been years since I sewed anything for pleasure, I am easily able to locate my supplies. I set everything out on the table and start working. The longer I work, the easier it becomes to focus. Eventually, I completely lose track of time. Ah, and what is my lovely Lucette doing? The minute I catch the glint of Chevalier's glasses, I grab the material off the desk and sit on it. I hope there weren't any needles in there. Oh, keeping secrets, are we? Yes! And they're stabbing me in the butt right now. I have no idea what you're talking about. Are you hiding another romance book? I will never forget the day Chevalier found me in here reading one of the romance books Emmeline lent me. Or rather, he will never let me forget it. I should bring by another so we can read it together. That'd be cute. Last time he read a romance novel aloud, I wanted to throw myself out the window. Never mind then. If you do that again, I will burn the book with magic. Even if it's Emmeline's? Even if it's Emmeline's. Chevalier laughs as he leans closer, close enough for me to see the playful shimmer in his eyes. You never answered my question. It's nothing. Oh? He leans even closer until his lips are brushing my ear. If it's nothing, then you won't mind me sweeping you off your feet to see. I grip the chair when Chevalier sets a hand on my back. I will not let the surprise be spoiled. Before he can lift me off the chair, I lean forward and kiss him, hard. He freezes, but his surprise is only momentary. He kisses me back, his fingers trailing down my back and sending shivers down my spine. When we part, he steps away and holds up his hands in surrender. Fine, I admit defeat. That's one way to distract somebody. Good, because you can never hope to best me. Chevalier laughs. No, I suppose not. He plops down on the bed with a sigh. It occurs to me that today was his first official day as the palace physician. How was your work? Good, I suppose. You suppose? Chevalier shakes his head. There wasn't much to do besides organize my inventory and order medication. Most of the nobles and servants who came by were healthy. And how were they? Chevalier's expression is carefully neutral. As I said, they were all healthy. But how were they when you spoke to them? I cannot help but recall the way the two ladies in town looked at him. Many people, nobles included, are unafraid to show their dislike of him. But because Chevalier is Chevalier and dislikes speaking ill of anyone, he probably does not want to admit it. I really do wish he would talk to me. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and end things here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I am Bacon, and this so far has been Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore. Chevaliers are out. If you like the video, feel free to like the video. If you like me, feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all that lovely stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!